G'day and kia ora, this is the Anzac Gamer, also known as Angelite85. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a long time. I took a look at the channel and saw what the last videos were uploaded to it were and when they was, and that was 2 years ago. I did not think it was actually that long ago that I attempted to actually do something with the channel. But here we are, we're back, and as you can see, we're looking at Empyrion Galactic Survival. It's a game that's been sitting in my Steam library for a while, just sitting there maturing, because it is an early access game. It's just recently gone from pre-alpha to alpha, and I have had the title since about pre-alpha 2. Had a look at it, was quite impressed with what was going on with it, then jumped over to sort of let it sit for a little bit more stewing, a little bit more bubbling, cooking away. Came back at I think pre-alpha 3, maybe even 4, or just before the tick over to pre-alpha 4, and saw what they were doing there. They added some things that I liked, some things that I sort of went, I can see where you're going with that. You are at pre-alpha. I don't like how you've implemented now, but okay, we'll see where it goes. And then now we're into alpha 1.3, and the difference between it is absolutely amazing. They've optimized it. They've done an optimization run. I was having trouble with frame rate drops and stuff like that. I don't have those issues. I have those issues now when I get into space. I don't know if those have been improved since the issues. I was having those issues in 1.1. I haven't since been into space again since since then. So we're going to see how we go here. A few things straight out of the gate. There's is sort of a let's play review thing. The reason it's going to be kind of a let's play reviewy type dealy thing, just sort of showing how things work, is because unlike the previous videos, part of the reason that I stopped doing that, I was just a little bit wasn't happy with the quality I was putting out, wasn't happy with the quality I was putting out there, and you're probably saying everybody's got to start somewhere. Nobody can become PewDiePie and the Yogscast and all them overnight. You can't become Jacksepticeye, you can't become any of those YouTubers overnight. That's not going to happen. And I should think like that because my mate Kamikaze78, who I did a video with in PlanetSide 2 years ago, he's gone on from stream. He's doing very well indeed. So I can't expect to be him overnight either. So let's get into it. I've got to keep things organized. I have a thing off to one side of me, which is to deal with, to keep me on track. So let's jump straight into it. We'll call this one LP Rev 1 space 1.3a, since it's an alpha. I haven't been having any luck with seeds, but we'll leave that one as it is, and we'll see how it goes. So actually, you know what? I'm not going to do this in survival mode. I'm going to do this in creative, and we'll try and get through all of this in a matter of, I don't know, maybe we'll go through and I'll explain what we're doing from the start. The only thing that we can probably do some mining stuff as well. So let's get started. So okay, here we are. Now this is the just something that, because we're in creative, this is all in here. This here is either something something either a devs put together or one of the community. The devs pull on a lot of the community driven a lot to build things and produce things for points of interest and stuff like that. See, the doors are automatic. We come in here. Let's go up this elevator and see what's going on upstairs. Very pretty. So we've got a bedroom and everything. There's a shower in here and shower and a toilet. So whoever did this, well done. This is a great crafting job for the thing. So let's head down further. So this is all glass. Anyway, let's go back through here. I love what they've done here. This is all curved. These things, I think, this curving and everything, all this rounded edging, I'm pretty sure was in either dropped pre-alpha 4 or pre-alpha, maybe late alpha 5, pre-alpha 5, maybe even in alpha. No, it's not alpha, it's pre-alpha. Anyway, here's the farm. So we hit T to gather this stuff. We'll just gather some of the stuff up because I'll hopefully find the oh no, another farm. So this grow light here, you need these to grow these grow beds. Anyway, so those are the farms in here. I would not be surprised if there's another one over here. Oh no, this is the kitchen. So here's our food processor. We'll just drop these in. So the tomatoes, that, and that. Now, this is sort of a nice introduction to crafting. So we've got space durans, which are essentially space potatoes. So we'll create some fries. We've got the corn here, so we can make some popcorn. And then we've got pumpkins, which we can do baked pumpkin. And these we use for food, obviously. So the tomatoes, I'm pretty sure I can actually eat. And so actually, put that in there. Oh, yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 popcorn. Now you can make more complicated dishes, as you can see here. We've got bread, which would be the flour, and so you'd have, excuse me, so with the bread you'd turn the wheat into flour. As you can see over the right, input items is wheat 1, and then we have, with that, then you have some purified water. You can make your bread. Then if you have tomatoes and bread and salami you get from killing things, then you make a sandwich. And who doesn't love a sandwich? So in here we have, oh yeah, generator. So the generator that's powering the base, we have a small fuel tank, and we have the constructor. The constructor is the main beast of producing everything. So all these ingots. I'll see what I've got in the creative menu. See if I've got any access to, yes. So let's say you've got some, we'll get some cobalt, silicon, neodymium and copper and beryllium. So these are your ores that you dig up along with the eristrium, and there's cosium ore, and you've got magnesium, yeah, I've got magnesium, didn't I? So magnesium ore. You would go and mine these out in the world, and then you'd throw them in this constructor, and you'd make your ingots by clicking on them. I was just shift clicking, which gives you 10, and it'll go through and make all that stuff for you. Yeah, a bit of magnesium. Once you've got your ingots and all that, then you can start making your electronics, your control devices, all that stuff in here. And all that stuff, here the control devices, the electronics, etc., you would then use to make all your devices. All of these things. All these lovely, wonderful things. And that's it. You would also make, and these things here, your starter blocks. You need I'll get into that later, but you need these to create your, like, your starter, your bases, your hob vessels, small vessels. Steel blocks for all this stuff, all the blocks and everything here that you see around you. These are all blocks. All blocks. So you need all that for things. So, let's see. Generator. So this thing's got 2 generators on it. How much fuel has it got? 3 large fuel packs. That'll be enough. We'll jump in, push wide, fire it up, spacebar to go up. Let's point to the sky. We'll go for a brief jaunt into space. So up into space. If you can have a look in the right screen, down there we've got distance to orbit, and it's obviously counting down because we're going into orbit. So we'll fly out up into spacey space. I'll give you a go out here. And we're in space. Out in space we have the asteroids over there. You'll become familiar with it if you ever do get this game. You'll become familiar with the asteroids. They are Sathium. So you need the Sathium for certain components. You need it for many a thing. Well, actually not many a thing. You just need it for... Eventually probably will need it for many a thing. But anyway. So we go to the Sathium. So you go to the Sathium asteroid here. It's all that green, that goldy stuff that you actually is what you mine out. We'll do that on the planet. And I'll show that on the planet for mining. Same thing in space. It's a little bit harder though, just because the ore tends to float away. So let's go back into space. We'll go into this view again. So we go into third person camera view. We will fly back to the planet, and we've just had some frame rate drops. Again, the game's in alpha. It can only get better. Now the planet, you might be thinking, is a little bit small. They will be increasing. I cannot stress this enough. The developers have said they will be increasing. So nice re-entry effects there. We'll fly back down to the base. I cannot stress this enough. The developers have said that the planets will be a lot bigger. Will become a lot bigger. Now, while we're out in space, what will happen is I'll actually spawn in a... we'll just go for a fly over the terrain. I will spawn in a capital vessel, and we will go for a fly to another planet, and I'll show you how that happens. So let's see if I can't find... a ore deposit. I get the sneaking... I could be completely wrong, and ores in that do not spawn, but I could have sworn that ores will... It's quite possible the ores won't spawn. We may need to actually go I may need to go up into the asteroids to actually show you, but we'll see. Can't get. We must be heading to be nearing a pole. At the moment, the poles aren't open, but they are apparently they will open them up later on. They did say they were going to do that in alpha, but there mustn't be anything. They mustn't be quite ready for that at this stage. So we'll just head back to... hang on, where's base? There it is. We'll head back to the base, and straight away I've sort of kind of shown you a bit of the farm. Oh, I might show you a little bit of the crafting side of things. So let's have a look. See, we've got some weaponry. Oop, crashed into a tree. As you can see, we've got Gatling gun. Let's go this way, and I'll swing it around, as you can see. And then we'll go back to the rocket launcher. That's your rocket launcher. Anyway, enough of that. Go back and land on the base. Shut down the ship. Now, so we've had that. There's a few things that one of the things that there's actually a lot that I like about this game. There's not so much that I don't like, just because there isn't so much for me not to like. At the moment, we have the tech tree. As you in a normal survival game, you'd be leveling up, unlocking these with you get unlock points, and you unlock these things as you go, so it can build stuff. It's kind of it wasn't a it was an unwelcomed addition, as it felt like it was a hamstring. So I'm just going to spawn in the hover vessel here. There we go. Hover vessel. Let's see if it's got any. Yeah, it's got some fuel in there. Right. So this is the hover vessel. Going to max hover height. Oh dear. It seems a bit stuck. There we go. Let's try that again. There we are. So the hover vessel, the primary purpose of the hover vessel is an early game get around point. Now, obviously I've just spawned this in, it's just a normal, it's just off the blueprint. The blueprint you actually have access to in the survival side of it. Once you hit level 3, you can actually spawn it in, not so much spawn it in, you will have to supply some resources to the factory. Which I don't think I can. Yeah. So up along, just up where it says blueprints and that, there's a tab that'll say library and another one that will say factory. So you would select on that, and then you'd say down here, where I don't even know if the cursor's showing up. I'm using a completely different friggin' recording program this time round. Down here it says to factory. So you'd actually select one of the blueprints, and you'll say to factory, and then you put in the ingot amounts where it says iron, ingot, copper, cobalt, blah blah blah. But if you use completed components, it will greatly speed up the production time. I'm a little bit disappointed we haven't come across any point of interest. I may have to come out of this and go into a survival. Oh dear. A survival game, just to kind of show off some point of interest and hopefully not get killed in the process. But yeah, so the hover vessel, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great vehicle to get you around and stuff like that. Now, obviously, being in creative, I can't show you the survival aspects of the game. Like, you can see health, food, oxygen, stamina. Now you're going, what the hell's all that about? Well, obviously food, you have to eat food to survive. Just like in Minecraft and Rust and all them other survival doohickey survival games. So Y to power off, T to exit, get back into here. Now, what I'm doing here, I've just turned on the jetpack. Because I'm in survival, I can't just fly like I'm flying. Doesn't happen. But anyway, so now we're gonna actually spawn in so this is the stock capital vessel. I'm not and it's a perfectly fine ship. The thing is, it's missing a few things, which I use the starter vessel, the small vessel, to go and get the requirements for. Which in this case, this needs the Sathium. Actually, no, the normal one, yeah. So this. There's actually no. Oh yeah, okay, no. So mine requires another 10 Sathium ingots that the normal stock one doesn't have. The reason that this one is modified is because it has a hangar on the back. It has 2 turrets underneath and a turret on top. What a big bloody hole in the back there. Oh dear. I actually saved this vessel after being in battle with it a couple of times. So up the top here we have another cannon sitting on the roof. But in the on the normal stock there is actually no hangar for a small vessel. So we've got the small vessel in here. As you can see, there's been alterations. Done! But anyway, we'll come down here. This isn't on the stock vessel either. In the back here we have large ammo box, large and small ammo boxes. We come along here. I probably can't get through. So we've got, this is the other thing, the warp drive, and a couple of other things. So the food processor is not normally isn't in the stock ship, and neither is the warp drive tank. The warp drive tank you actually use, you farm blue crystal, which you go into big fields of water like that to get. But let's jump in this, and we'll take this out into space, and we'll go to another planet, which will also show me, allow me to show you the warp mechanic, which is your main space travel. Which, yeah. So, into space we go. So, there we go. Into space. We're in space. So, to go to another... So, that there is the Akua moon. Akua is the planet we just left. That's our starting planet. There are other starting planets, but for anybody that's just starting to play the game, highly recommend starting on Akua. There's one less thing to worry about for you, and that's oxygen. You don't need it as immediately. If you go on to the original starting planet for the game, which was Omicron, oh, you're worrying about oxygen from the get-go. You needed to get that sorted ASAP. But anyway, well, actually, quickly go to a Sathium asteroid, and we'll just show you. And I'll just show you the mining side of it. So I'll just come back in here. Actually, I'll just get a little bit closer. A little bit closer, so I'm not going for ages. Pull up alongside it there. Jump out of the cockpit. Go out of the airlock. And we'll get into here. What we want is now you start out with this drill, but I love this tier 2 drill as it has auto pickup. So we're going here, but the tier 2 you actually need stuff. So as we're drilling into this, as you can see, it's picking up the ores. So I'll just flick over to the normal drill, and I'll just show you what's happening. As you can see, all the ores are just flying everywhere, just out in space. So obviously we have microgravity, but we don't have Newtonian physics. I'll just put that out there. So the ships do actually yeah, no, they do actually stop. So anyway, we'll head back into here, head back into the ship, and we will pull up. So that's mining in space. Obviously you won't have that kind of trouble, but let's pull the map up. Let's go to our systems here. So we've got Akua moon. We will go to, let's go to Ningus, or no, I'm not sure what the let's go. We want the orbit, and it's 1.1 astronomical unit, which is the distance from Earth, or what we would refer to as the distance from the Earth to the Sun, is 1 AU. So it's that's the last. Apparently, that's what it is. The distance from the Sun to Earth is 1 AU. But anyway, so here we go. Pushing K. Need pentaxit, which is I'll actually show you. So you get blue crystal. You harvest a blue crystal from under the water. You go over to your constructor. You drop it into your constructor. We go over to the components, and there it is there. So we drop it in there, and that's our blue crystal. And it doesn't take very long to actually produce at all. And we need 2 in our warp tank. So enter the warp tank, drop it in there. We're all fueled up. So obviously, do not go to another planet without making sure we need to fly faster, activate warp. So let's get up to max speed and K.